Mind control has always been an interesting ability to me. It's been in plenty of games so far. Games like Mindjack and Psyops and Dishonored. They've all had mind control in some way or another, but it never was the main mechanic. That was until MindSwap. In MindSwap, the player has no way of using any weapon, and instead must take control of the enemy to kill other enemies and accomplish tasks. Like so. Now, there are four other different types of enemies in MindSwap. To start off, there is the heavy, the fast enemy, the regular enemy, and the tiny enemy. Now, the fast enemy is the big, strong brute with the powerful chain gun that can mow down enemies anywhere. And they're so strong that they can lift heavy objects and place them anywhere. Now, the fast enemies are pretty weak, but they make up for that in their speed. Watch how this fast enemy is able to get to the time door before it shuts. Pretty cool. Now, the tiny enemy is small enough to fit into very small areas, and they can explode, clearing new paths for the player, like so. And then finally, there is the regular enemy. That is simply two guns, an assault rifle, and a pistol. So, after all of that, I bet you are wondering, what does the main player do? Well, the main player has only one ability, to take control of their enemies. This ability does leave them at risk. Your body will stand where you were when you took over an enemy, so you better be in a safe area or you could potentially die. And since your goal is to get the main player to the end of each level, you might not want to do that. So, let's talk about how the player does their mind control. While controlling an enemy, you only have a certain amount of time before you get kicked out of their body and back into your own. Once you leave an enemy's body, they will freeze in place for a while before returning back to normal, and your mind control ability has to recharge before being used again. I do foresee some risks while developing MindSwap. Taking control of the enemies hasn't been too much of an issue so far, but trying to balance them out as opponents and playable characters will be. A solid possible fix to this would be to develop different states for the enemies, one for when they are an AI, and one for when they are the player controlled, so that way they each have their own custom settings. If making two balanced sides of the same character type doesn't work out after at least a month and a half of trying, then trying to balance both states with the same values may be the easiest choice. Making the main character feel useful is also important as well. The main thing I worry about when it comes to the player protecting their main character is not having it feel like a burden on them. This could ruin a lot of the experience if not handled correctly. A good way to counter this is to just give the player more abilities that they can use. But if after trying to give the player some more abilities for at least a month and it doesn't work out, then maybe just giving them a small gun might do the trick. Now onto the thing I have thought the least about, the theme. While I have been developing this idea, there really hasn't been a main theme to speak of. I like the idea of hacking into robots, but it could be mind control, possession, or anything like that. The possibilities are endless. But that's all I have to show for now. I really hope you enjoyed this presentation and that you have a lovely day. Bye-bye.